Welcome back to Umineko, guys. ah, Madame. It's nothing. Leave me be. Natsui flew in her room onto herself, bad lamentating. Those heart-wrenching sobs reached Kumasawa in the hallway. Poor Madame Natsuhi. There's a deep enmity between her and Iba-sama. Explaining her relationship would be very trying for me as a woman. Why not just tiring made more sense, whatever. The Ushiromiya family holds blood in high regard, but if a woman marries and leaves a family, they are normally removed from the family register. Thus, under normal circumstances, Iba should have been removed when she married Hideyoshi-sama. However, there is no one deserving of blame in this matter. The Madame certainly bears no guilt. There's nothing to call it together than a woman of God. Cross-sama and Natsuhi-sama were not blessed children for some time. After all, this is a male-dominant Ushiromiya family. A wife is merely a tool to create an heir. If such a wife cannot fulfill her only duty, then she will not be treated as a human. It pains me to remember how the master tortured Madame during that time. Back when a wedding between Iba-sama and Hideyoshi-sama was being discussed, Iba-sama was sly, taking advantage of Madame's inability to become pregnant. She gained the favor of the master. She inspired him to allow her to marry and give birth to a successor herself, making sure to avoid transferring her name out of the Ushiromiya register. There was a vast difference in the Ushiromiya hierarchy between Madame and who married into the Ushiromiya family and was treated like an outsider, and Iba-sama, who was related to the family by blood, and No's husband took on the Ushiromiya name. Furthermore, Iba-sama actually gave birth first and to a boy. As for how much weaker Madame's position was in Iba-sama as well, I believe you could see for yourself. I'm sure Madame was tormented by the thought that if she only had gotten pregnant earlier, the master wouldn't have accepted Iba-sama's request to keep her last name after marriage, and Iba-sama wouldn't have been permitted to act as arrogantly as she did today. However, that was not Madame's fault. All of the blame lies with the gods Williams, the stork that delivered Jessica late. Even so, Madame won't allow herself to see things that way. She probably can't help but cry bitter tears as a woman at her inability to carry out the duties expected of a wife. Ah, how sad. I cannot do anything except watch over her from the shadows. Hey, it's going back an hour. Or not, maybe a few minutes. We crossed the hall again on our way to the entrance. As we did, once again we spotted that witch's portrait. However, spot is probably not the best word to describe that experience. It was more like our eyes were inexorably drawn to it. That woman's eyes, with their sage-like glamour, definitely had the power to make those who viewed it stand rooted to the spot. So this is a witch Beatrice. I wonder if the story's true. Ooh, because Battler doesn't believe. Back when he asked what this picture was, the first person to tell him had been Mariah. Therefore, when Battler showed signs of doubt, Mariah must have felt that Battler didn't have faith in her. Of course, that wasn't what Battler meant. Mariah ran up to the portrait and began banging on the plate hanging below it. Maybe the title of the portrait was written there. Mariah tried to prove that she wasn't lying, obstinately to continue to hit the plate. Ah, sorry about that. It's not like I thought you were anything. You said, Mariah. Ooh, Battler believes. Ooh. When he patted Mariah's head and apologized, she seemed to accept it, sticking on her chest and proudly oohing. What's this? My beloved witch Beatrice. Behold the sweet fish river. What's with this weird, huge epitaph? The plate did have the title of the portrait written on it, but it was stupid to contain only that. Beneath the title appeared to be a long epitaph. If you just skimmed over it, wait, did I just reread that whole thing? Oh, whatever. If you just skimmed over it, several unnerving words would jump out at you. Incredible, isn't it? Grandfather had that made. Pretty deep, huh? Ooh, I know. It's the place where the gold's hidden. Wait, is that a story about how the Ushiromiya family's hidden gold? No, there's nothing I remember from long ago. Hold on, Aniki, is this for real? Grandfather had this made, but he never said anything about this picture or epitaph. Even so, amongst the family, it's often whispered that it indicates the location of grandfather's hidden gold, and that we will all relinquish the inheritance and the gold to the person who solves the riddle. Ooh, I heard that too. Lots and lots of gold. Well, something like that. Something like 10 metric tons of gold bars. I think it's fake though. I heard that too. That's a gold. Something like that. Okay, never mind. It added on to that. Man, I keep repeating shit. I'm tired. It's like 5 in the morning. I haven't been to bed yet. I stayed up all night playing Pokemon Go. Anyway, I think it's fake though. Still, when you read about it in an epitaph like this, it almost seems real. I think I already explained the grandfather's upbringing, but let me also mention the Ushiromiya family's legend of the gold. Grandfather succeeded the Ushiromiya family after it was destroyed in the Great Kanto earthquake, and by successfully riddling the stormy seas after the war, he managed to accumulate great wealth. That much of the story everyone knows. However, this is where the strange part begins. Part of it involves grandfather's black magic obsession, so it's incredibly it's extremely low, but well, wait until the end before you doubt or make fun of it. After the war, grandfather correctly predicted what the future would hold and won in a huge gamble, accumulating a vast store of wealth. But there's a mysterious legend about how he gained his initial funding. Grandfather came from a branch family and had no connections in this business world or the financial world. Even though he later broke connections with the occupying forces, he supposedly started as a nameless person who hadn't yet gained anyone's trust. It takes trust to gather money. There's no way anyone would lend money to someone they didn't trust. How did grandfather, who had no reputation at all, manage to obtain his first vast chunk of funds? When he asked that question, grandfather supposedly answered like this. On a certain day, I encountered the golden witch of Beatrice. Grandfather then went on and on about continuing research in her alchemy and techniques for summoning demons in order to become a great magician. And the entity summoned as a result of the demon calling ceremony was the golden witch of Beatrice. He then apparently made a contract by which he would receive fortune and honor in exchange for his own soul. The witch then granted grandfather 10 tons of gold. Grandfather used his gold as a collateral to prepare a vast quantity of funds, he used to multiply his wealth and many times over and revive the Ushiromiya family. It seems that this story is so old that even our parents were told that they were still children. So back when our parents were young, they explored this island in all sorts of ways, believing that the gold grandfather received from the witch might be hidden somewhere. However, since there was a daughter of them getting lost in the abandoned forest, grandmother began to spread the story that the witch lived in the forest, and approaching it was forbidden. I remember that old story. When we were little, we also went all over the island searching for treasure after our parents told us about it. Then we get lost in the forest once and started crying until some of the servants found us. Our parents got so mad. Then that takes me back. We sure were idiots, weren't we? After all, grandfather only bought this island after he used those funds to get rich, right? Which means that he must have done the gold before coming here. There's no way the gold's on this island. That's not necessarily so. Maybe the gold was hidden on the island from the beginning. He bought the whole island just to ensure that he'd be his and his alone. There was a whole 10 metric ton of it, right? It seems more realistic that he tried to secure the place where it was hidden rather than try to move it all. That epitaph was made 2 years ago, and since grandfather wrote it himself, he had to make the legend of the gold seem more believable. The so-called witch's gold that revived the Ushiromiya family weighed 10 tons. Maybe that was sleeping somewhere ready to be turned over to whoever could solve grandfather's riddle. Maybe that's why he did it. I guess that's like grandfather's style or something. It's just true. That's pretty incredible. The epitaph carved into the plate was mysterious, with the girls like a poem or song written on it. The text was incredibly disturbing, filled with signs of grandfather's black magic hobby, and his contents were truly in bad taste, but could definitely be viewed as a puzzle, which, if solved, might lead to the hidden gold. Whether it was what he intended or not, I can't even imagine that his true motive might have been. All we know for sure is that grandfather put his shady epitaph here so that everyone in the family could see it. We also know that he's hinted at the existence of the gold without ever talking about where it might be hidden, at least so far. These facts were established by the imaginations of our parents, who were convinced that grandfather was challenging us to battle of wits. So just like that, it's so greedy that he takes something like this so seriously. He may laugh at grandfather's black magic obsession, but he still believes his story about the hidden gold. It just sounds so good. Well, certainly not a realistic story. At the time when grandfather was still nameless, he had no connections. There was no way anyone would just lend him a massive quantity of gold bars for free. If such a person actually did exist, it's not unthinkable that grandfather would call such a sponsor a witch. Yeah, but 10 tons. If he cashed that in, how much would it come to? I mean, that'd be a ridiculous amount, right? It certainly would be a ridiculous amount. Except the total amount of gold mined by humankind since the dawn of history is 100,000 metric tons at most. That 1 out of 10,000 of all of the gold humankind has obtained throughout this history should belong to just one person. It's just insane. On top of that, the Switch supposedly had all that gold collected in one place and was able to lend it to grandfather just like that. Alright guys, sorry for that cut there. Was not realize that my recording became unregistered. I mean, I only recorded 10 minutes, so there's not a big gap between where it stopped and where I'm at now. So sorry about that, guys. I was not told that it was unregistered again, and yeah, but it's fixed now. Where were we? Well, to me, that 10 times number seems pretty fishy. After all, no one's actually seen it except grandfather, right? Even if we assume that some generous witch existed and lived in some gold, it may be closer to 10 kilograms than 10 tons. 10 kilograms would be a pretty incredible sum, right? Ooh, 10 kilograms of gold is how much? Mariah, who was following the story and felt like she was being spoken into riddles, finally found a place where she could ask us a question. It was a question I also wanted to answer right then. Whether it was 10 kilograms or 10 tons, it felt like it was a huge amount, but I had no idea how huge. George and Nicky folded his arms to try to remember the market price of gold. Well, the value of gold is affected by the market, and the value of physical gold can change depending on its purity and trustworthiness of the foundry. You'd also need to pay handling fees to cash it in. However, that doesn't change the fact that it's a precious metal, and some people estimate that the humanity will mine all the world's gold within a half a century if gold mining continues at its current rate. Just guessing haphazardly, I think you could expect the price about 2 million yen per kilogram. Whoa, just I only said 10 kilograms instead of smaller, but even that would be worth 20 million yen, wouldn't it? Ooh, I weigh 28 kilograms, which means if we had Mariah chance weight in gold, we could estimate it worth over 50 million yen. And that's just unbelievable. How much would 10 tons be then? 10 kilograms is 20 million yen, which multiply 1,000, 20 billion yen, what the hell? How much is 20 billion yen actually worth? We can only measure it relative to our own pocketbooks. Anyway, let's say a person's wages over a lifetime about 200 million yen. You grew up and worked like crazy, sacrificing your life for your company. You're finally freed as you approach your old age. Everything, including retirement money, might up to about 200 million yen. In other words, that's the amount of money that'll maybe made throughout a human's life. No, you could even call it the value of a life. So 100 times that sum is an unbelievable amount of money. If you work from age 20 to 60, that's 40 years work, so it's equal to 4,000 years of work wages. If you worked every day starting from the Jomon period, you could only reach that number about now. Ooh, is 20 billion yen a lot? Heck yeah, it's a lot. Mariah, you love shortcake, right? You could buy more shortcake than you could possibly eat for the rest of your life. However, while that may be possible with 20 billion yen in cash, I don't think it would be very realistic to have that much in gold bars all in one place. Just as I said, gold is extremely heavy, so it isn't exactly convenient as a method of storing wealth. So you can imagine someone gathering their fortune together as incredibly high-value stocks or precious gems. You could often hear people traded their wealth for precious gems so they could carry around with them during the chaotic times of the war. But you don't actually hear stories of people exchanging their wealth for gold. It may be heavy, but it's the most trusted and stable form of wealth internationally. So maybe that was important. For example, bonds are just scraps of paper if the whole country goes under. You can also look at it that way, but every 10 kilogram ingot is pretty heavy to carry around. Haven't you heard? A 50 kilogram person can't carry a 50 kilogram bag over their shoulder. With that many gold bars, the amount of labor and risk for one person would have to be hard to calculate. So what you're saying is, while it'd be one thing if you had a stack of banknotes worth 20 billion yen, 20 billion yen in gold would be such a big mountain that practically be kind of pointless. That's right, all the legends of the gold does have pretty interesting ring to it, which is part of the 10 tons of gold makes it pretty much impossible. If you think about it logically, it sounds like it's obviously fake. Kind of brings you back down to reality. Anyway, that's grandfather for you. Maybe he exaggerated the story of how some kind of wealthy person gave him a loan by saying he's had 10 tons of gold from a witch. Even the number 10 tons feels pretty symbolic. You mean like how his gratitude for the money he borrows worth 10 tons of gold or something? He maybe some rich man's leisured wife generously couldn't hit to grandfather, and maybe he started calling that person a witch. I see just as an example isn't bad. Someone whose generosity lent this huge sum of money to grandfather when he still had no reputation might be called a witch. Furthermore, grandfather actually did use that money to build a vast amount of wealth later on. The fact that this person was so great at judging people might also justify their calling her a witch. Also, since she was into the trouble lending all that money, she might enthusiastically overseen how it was spent. The decision to unexpectedly get involved with the occupying forces and profit from the Korean War demands might have been inspired by the witch herself. That might explain why he claimed to have received both wealth and honor from her. I see. So in other words, this witch lent grandfather the funds necessary to revive the Ushirami family, and he owed her big time. And then he felt so grateful that he had his huge painting drawn and displayed. Yeah, it's not that crazy a story. That's even possible. This person was an old granny who looked like a witch. Maybe grandfather idolized her, and that's why he had drawn her down. Looked so beautiful. I bet if we ever did meet this person, she wouldn't be nearly this pretty. That's possible. The name Beatrice sounds pretty Western, and if you think about how when our family has Western names, maybe even the name Beatrice is just old grandfather trying to rearrange some Japanese person's name to make it sound Western. I get it. That means this pretty girl doesn't exist outside the picture. Guess that means I won't be able to rub those elegant breasts. In the first place, isn't a witch being pretty bizarre by itself? Like, you could find something like that anywhere on Earth. I'd laugh to make fun of the witch trying to distinguish myself from this kid I was 6 years ago, who feared the witch in the forest when Mariah tugged on my sleeve. I could tell by how hard she pulled that she was a bit upset. What is it, Mariah? Ooh, Beatrice exists. Mariah stared up at me. She had her on her usual sour look, but I could tell she was angry about the color of her eyes. Witches exist. Ooh. Well, sure they do exist if you turn on TV and watch anime or something. Witches exist. Ooh. I started to get impatient, not knowing why Mariah was jumping on me like this. Then Jessica tapped me on the shoulder and whispered, "Dumbass, you're smashing your kid's dream. Mariah really believes things like witches and Beatrice exist. When I think of it, Mariah changed in social studies at your school, and you asked her right about what you wanted to be when you grew up. You had a witch, didn't you?" Mariah nodded seriously. Tears started running from the corners of her eyes. I see to a girl who must become a witch in the future. The existence of Beatrice was proof that witches do exist in this world. It was therefore an image that she yearned after and admired. Exists. Witches exist. But Battler still doesn't believe. Ooh. It's okay, witches do exist. I believe it. George and Nikki kneeled down and hugged Mariah's head. Watching this, Jessica poked my side, so that's what it is. It's like showing that Santa Claus doesn't exist if I have a child who believes in him on Christmas Eve. I'm not the kind of guy who likes to shatter kids' dreams. Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to make fun of your dreams. I apologize. Beatrice does exist. Even now, she's living in the forest and comes to the mansion every night to peek in and see what everyone's doing. So you shouldn't go in the forest that night. You mustn't stare into the dark forest. You might be seen by the witch of the forest, Beatrice. After all, grandmother said so. Ooh, really? Battler really believes? Yep, I believe. Sorry for doubting it. Come on, let's go make up. I stuck my hand out. Mariah grabbed it with her tiny hand and we made up. Mariah didn't grumble anymore, so George and Nikki just go relieved. Oh, so this is where all of you were. I'm sure you just had left to go to the beach. Shannon and Shane carrying a basket was surprised to find us all gathered in front of the portrait. Shannon, well, this is the first time Battler has seen Beatrice's portrait. He was just fascinated by it. That's right, it certainly is fascinating. Beatrice is truly beautiful. I am sure that she's captivated by the master. In addition to the Patreon theory, there's also a theory that she was grandfather's first love. Either way, although it's seen several decades since we met her, even now she holds a special place in his heart, which must mean he's still captivated by her. Sheesh, that must have made grandmother pretty jealous, huh? I'm not really sure, but it might actually be true. Apparently, grandmother believed he was cheating on her with some blonde. Oh, it's a good smell coming from Shannon. When I sniffing approached the basket Shannon was holding with interest. After hearing that, I noticed the fragrance sent the touch of vanilla. I apologize. I was told by Kumasawa-san to bring them to everyone. What is it, I wonder? Oh, excellent. Cookies. Ooh, wanna eat cookies. Ooh. Please eat as much as you like. But, would it be appropriate to serve cookies in a place like this in front of the portrait? Shannon sent us a glance that seemed to ask us what we wanted to do about it. Well, yeah, I guess eating here would be bad manners, generally speaking. Alright, why don't we eat someplace else? Let's put the cookies in a bento and have a picnic. Ooh, have a picnic. If we can eat cookies, let's go. Yeah, let's go get some fresh air. We shouldn't stuff ourselves right in front of the witch. That's right, didn't we say that we want to go down to the beach in the first place? Let's go. Shan-chan, sorry, but could I ask you to get us a blanket to sit on some flask of tea? Right, certainly. Shan-chan received her instructions and gracefully bowed before retracing her steps. We headed for the bench on our own. Everyone headed with interest in the group. Feeling as though the witch was staring down at our backs, I turned around once more. Ooh, Battler, you still don't believe? Nope, I believe. I believe so much cooler that way. The golden witch Beatrice gave grandfather 10 tons of gold. And that gold might still be sleeping around here somewhere. Besides, ain't grandfather right? That's strange. Every tap as though he's challenging us to find it we can. I say that kind of adventure story weighs better. 20 billion yen worth of gold, huh? Even if we split up between the four of us, it's still a ridiculous amount of money. 5 billion yen for each of us. Incredible. With that kind of money, you could probably make any sort of business prosper. In fact, we could live our whole lives fabulously without working at all. Ooh, I don't want 5 billion yen. I want cookies, cookies. Oh, I would take cookies over money. Still, 5 billion yen is less like a dream. Ridiculous. Is it possible that you all truly believe in Father's legend of gold? Of course, we don't believe that story about a witch living and giving them gold, but there's no mistake about the gold itself. The fact that the father obtains what gold and bars from an unknown source has been confirmed in several ways. We've heard about that before the president of the Maruso company died. Father showed him a large pile of gold somewhere. Father used that man's claim as proof that there were 10 tons worth. That's just nonsense of senile man along with father. He was just a fabricating a story. You can't take it seriously. If that gold didn't exist, he wouldn't have been able to gather so much funding. Before the president died, he was a person with such a sincere personality that he earned the respect of many in business world. He wouldn't become a partner so much fraud. Wait, what? Anyway, Anarchy, the president of the Marusos, definitely saw it 10 times of it clearly with his own eyes. Even more, Dad let the president take one ingot at random and have it examined. The results of the examination showed that the 10 kilogram ingot was 99.99% pure. He said the Ushiromiya family crest, the one wing and eagle was imprinted on it. Almost instantly, the Ushiromiya legend of the gold spread amongst the figures of the business world. Gold from an unknown foundry is poor rate of conversion into money. Thinking it was a chance for decisive profits, except it was collateral, and as a result, father was able to receive massive loans. Is there no limit to absurdity that you're willing to accept? How old are you people? Are you still taking that necessary tale that you heard as children seriously? Or is it proof that this ton of gold even exists? Are you just parroting the lives of father and a few that close to him? Of course, it's just a story, but still anarchy. The amount of money Dad raised required a suitable amount of collateral. Even if the gold itself was just a rumor, it's an undeniable fact that he showed them a treasure of comparable worth. It's just an illusion of money created by our penniless father. He acted as though he actually had gold that didn't exist, fooling his sponsors. It was probably just a gamble of a lifetime. Luckily, his use of those funds proved successful. If the Korean War demands that it come and the Ushiromiya family had not been restored, father would probably have been hounded after his crook of a century. So there you're saying the gold never existed and father made it all up? Of course, and because of that, the illusion of gold became a mere inconvenience once you've achieved enough success. That's why later on, father added about a witch and black magic, weakening the credibility of the entire source. In other words, he revealed that the illusion of gold was fabricated. If he claimed to receive the gold from a witch, no one would believe that it existed at all, right? It's also possible that he said, for all your sakes, nevertheless, here comes some stupid offspring wanting to divide up the non-existent gold, along with the rest of the inheritance. Rosa, don't tell me that even you believe in a fabrication like this. I can't prove whether or not father really had the gold. I just want to claim my rightful share as one of the father's 4 children. Oh, I see that even you have started to talk that way, Rosa. I see that's what you're all getting at. You're trying to claim that I'm attempting to keep all the gold for myself. Nissan, you've gathered a massive supply of funds. That's a fact. If we rule out the possibility that you've been embezzling father's personal funds, then there's only one possibility left, right? And you could have been thinking, they might have found those 10 tons of gold bars. Ridiculous, such a thing never existed in the first place. Then explain yourself. Was it the embezzlement of the father's assets or father's hidden gold? How could you have got so much funding, if not by one of those methods? Even I have many friends in the political and financial realms. I have earned more than blah blah blah. I have earned their cooperation, nothing more, and on the matter, I have no responsibility to explain myself to you. You understand, don't you? There are some topics that ought not be spoken of. If you insist on that, it's all well and good for now. But Anarchy, Dad doesn't have long. Nobody can assure that he'll live to see this day next year. And the inheritance process will begin at the instant of Dad's death. We'll have arranged for lawyers and accountants who are impartial to all of us, have them expect Dad's financial situation. At the time it comes to light that you unjustly interfere with father's money, you understand, right? I don't have any clue what you're talking about. You're starting to make me feel as indigent as my wife has. Of course, father's gold is part of the father's fortune. We understand that it's money you can't reveal openly, but the forced limit should have an equal right to it. In other words, we're going to have your dad financial situation investigate as well as Dad's to determine whether you've been hoarding the gold or not. Isn't this a great opportunity right now to prove the existence of your so-called support from friends and acquaintances? That way you can smartly apologize for foolishly doubting you. Right, Rosa? That's right. Cross Nissan, you're the one who's dodging the issue. If you're guilty, if you were guiltless, you would just prove that you were in the right, but you weren't even trying to do so. However, Anarchy, we still have to consider your position here. As Dad's representative, you're probably here bearing a larger share of the burden than we are. We've probably been living terribly relaxed lives until now, so it wouldn't be fair to the rest of us to complain but without taking your efforts into action. Oh, it seems like you cannot make up your mind whether to flatter me or slander me. Please get to the point. Basically, randomly investigating nitpicky aspects of Father's will seems like a pretty creative way to go about it. As you said, across Nissan, there may have been movements of money that are difficult to explain. We've come to consult with you today while fully aware of that point. Both sides stay in the game from talking about now. The consolation, ho. When the inheritance is divided, you'll be rewarded for years of hard work, taking care of Dad by an agreement that's generous in your favor. Don't misunderstand us, Nissan. We aren't saying that we'll abandon our rights. But when we make a claim for what we deserve, we might as well offer a generous understanding for your position. That's what we mean. In other words, if you accept our conditions, then we inherit is divided, we'll leave the investigation of Father's financial situation to you, Cross Nissan. All the siblings from Eva downward expected that Cross was stealing from the father's wealth. So that Cross report the state of the wealth was extremely contradictory and a huge concession. If they claimed Cross was actually embezzling money, Cross would be able to hide the fact, besides which it is impossible for him to control the distribution of the inheritance in a manner favorable to himself. Cross, realizing that it sounded too good to be true, couldn't help but feel suspicious. He couldn't help but worry about what they asked for in exchange. Oh, after misunderstanding me completely, you now say that you're willing to restore your confidence in me as the eldest sibling. So what is it you want in return? Just what we deserve as siblings. You aren't the kind of person who would steal Dad's property. But you also aren't being financed by some patron. Considering all that, there are certain explanations that satisfy the rest of us. Nissan, you found 10 tons of gold and used it as collateral to gather some funding. Yeah, it's just like Father did in the past, right? If that's the case, there won't be any funny business in Father's finances. You've always been a good son looking after Father. Why would you have mistrust a person like that? You're being so roundabout, I can barely understand you. Please speak in clearer, more practical terms. First condition, Aniki, you must admit that you found Dad's gold. Are you asking me to admit that I possess gold that doesn't exist? Second condition, you'll acknowledge that each sibling has a right to share gold, that you will pay out those shares. How foolish. With that non-existent 20 billion yen of gold, there would be 5 billion yen per person. Are you telling me the total of 15 billion yen? Ridiculous. Keep listening till the end. We all know that much money can't just pop out of nowhere. We're not asking you to make an impossible deal. Of course, regarding the portions of the gold, we plan to reward you plenty for your hard work until now. Our third condition, the portion of the gold to the one bearing the title says that the Ushiro head family will be 50%. The remainder will be considered the fair share for the sibling divided up. Of course, this also includes you, Cross Nissan. Of the 20 billion, 12.5 billion will go to Aniki, 2.5 billion will go to Eva Nissan, 2.5 billion will go to me, 2.5 will go to Rosa. That division scheme will make me so grateful I could cry. So you're saying that for the sake of gold that doesn't exist, I must pay you 7.5 billion yen. So on Nissan, you share yours 5 as many as your shares 5 times the size of ours. These are such good terms, I'd be jumping for joy, hee. Our fourth condition, the gold will be liquidated and distributed along with the inheritance at the time of Father's death. However, deposit 10% of our portions also be paid to us promptly. These payments must be made before March of next year. What do you think, Cross Nissan? This is an ideal chance for you to restore the trust regarding your handling of Father's assets, isn't it? Of course, it might be impossible to get a whole 7.5 billion before Father dies, but it should be impossible for you for a managed to deposit 750 million, right? Paying 700 million in half a year might sound like a good pain, but you should be able to manage it. Without all your friends in the political business spheres, normally we'd hope to receive the 7.5 billion right now all at once. But out of the concern for you, we'll show our sincerity by asking only for 10% of that for the time being. The remaining 90% can wait until until the inheritance is distributed. See, even they'd be capable of managing a mere 10% to show your sincerity. So you're trying to sell me the right to access Father's financial situation for 750 million yen? How impressive. You all certainly have grown. You think that I'm the one being offered deals? Anytime you accept these terms, the rest of us siblings will leave the investigation of Father's assets to you. However, the results of the investigation will be subjected to scrutiny. It's only natural, right? We'd be so sad if you managed things so that our 7.5 billion shares shrank. We'll avoid complaining as a general rule. Just make sure you do it neat and tidy. As long as you don't try anything that's blatantly obvious, we got no intention of stirring things up. We want our inheritance quickly too, but we don't want it to get all drawn out and left hanging. If a complaint is made, who would carry out the follow-up investigation? We don't mind if it's you. This is probably the first and last chance for siblings to reach your consciences. I believe it won't come to that. He crackle crack or cackle cackle. Looks like even you speak up now and then, Rosa. By this point, it's obvious that Cross wasn't at all trusted by the oldest sibling, so there was no need to go into detail. The formerly tyrannical, his brother had always abused his privileges and violated other siblings' shares. It was in response to this, the other three, now adults, were finally teaming up and striking back for the first time. Sorry, but there's more. Our fifth condition. This decision must take precedence over father's will. Later on, we don't want someone to will to blah blah blah. Later on, we don't want some will to appear and make this decision completely irrelevant. I see that you're very cautious, and let me ask: if the gold field really found, what would you do? Since you may only be making payments for us for what the gold's worth, the rest of us really don't care if we ever see the gold or not. You can't think of our shares in advance payment. It's good to have James, isn't it? You plan to turn Sally into a resort, right? You might be stumbled upon the gold by a chance during construction. Even allowed a high-pitched laugh, cross-watched by Damon flinch. Let me add a seventh condition before I accept. In the situation that any sibling other than myself finds the gold, they will immediately turn it over to me. Yes, of course. We'll hold on to it for you. It was a play on words. Of course, the others who were forcing Cross to pay money for non-existent gold wouldn't save Cross for this portion if they actually found it. From the beginning, it still had nothing more than a threat directed at Cross. Regardless of the actual facts, it was still extremely likely that Cross was embezzling his father's assets. When Kenzo faced death at last and had inheritance distributed, some unpleasant facts would surely come to light. Now easily become fiddle to Cross. The others had spotted his weak point and were threatening their brother under their veil of compromise, turning out to wring a huge sum of money out of him. However, they'd forgotten one thing. They'd forgotten that their brother's brain moved so swiftly, at least when it came to cunning and guile, that they'd been forced to band together to combat him. While Eva couldn't stop smiling and sure of her victory, Cross let out a glitting laugh to show how relaxed he was. This all makes such a torturing story, and my estrangement from you has all left a deep pain in my heart. If accepting these conditions means we siblings can become friends again, it would please me to no end. I'd be happy to agree to your deal. Rejoice, Rose, that we have reached an understanding. Rose's expression dimmed. It was never a good sign that her brother started talking like this. Eva also immediately picked up on this. That's why she was unable to wipe away a sense of unease, even though Cross had obediently accepted the deal. My whole opinion of you sound like you had all needs, son. What a cruel thing to say. Are you implying that I know I have some ulterior motive? Of course I don't. I'm just the same all of you, just the same as all of you. He seemed to emphasize just that one part. The color of Rudolph's face darkened. To him, it sounded as though Cross was saying, I have plans similar to yours. So Rudolph panicked. He rushed to bring this nearly resolved discussion to a conclusion. Then we're good. So Anarchy, would you mind signing here? This is a written contract summarizing the discussion we just been having. There's one for each of us. Everyone will go sign for the same contents. Rudolph took 4 handwritten contracts out of his breast pocket that had the details of the deal written on them. 7th condition you propose will of course be added right now. Don't worry about that. Anarchy, need a pen? Rudolph took a fountain pen out of his breast pocket and offered it to Cross. Cross made it as if to accept it, but then with a small laugh he drew back with his hand without taking it and spoke. Actually, in order to ensure that this agreement is properly executed, I'd like to propose an amendment in just one point. As Cross said that single sentence, all their siblings felt so the ominous was creeping up their backs at the same time. That won't do. We've already decided, haven't we? We just stay quiet and sign it. Why are you in such a hurry, Eva? Of course I'll sign. I promise to share the gold going to all of you will be 7.5 billion yen. I also promise that my father's inheritance is distributed. I will cleanly and neatly liquidate it. However, there's one point that I simply must insist you compromise on. What are you talking about? Why don't you like? The part about promptly paying 10% of your share, 750 million yen. As you pointed out, my financial situation is far from prosperous. While I could guarantee that I will collect on various future investments, I must admit that I'm quite poor at the present moment. In short term, I have absolutely no money that I can move around right now. I am incompetent, my basic senses are dull. Since I am the loser you claim me to be, I don't have the power to move 750 million yen in just half a year. That can't be true, or he trying to deceive us such a half-baked trick. At the time of the division of the inheritance, I will liquidate everything I want to remove the condition that I must pay you on 10% advance. This is the only condition on which I am willing to sign. Cross, we signed out 10% nothing more than a number to measure your sincerity, isn't it? All things being equal, you shouldn't have any room to negotiate at all. We're doing you a huge favor by offering to let you let things slide for just 10% in good faith money. Now that you explain that you reject our offer would seriously damage our trust relationship, right? He illustrated a humble expression of his face and was rubbing his hands together, but his eyes weren't calm at all. Cross had already seen through the shadow and the depths of those eyes. Why are you all such in a rush? Or could you be that you're afraid of something? Rosa, won't you tell me alone secretly so the rest of the siblings can't hear? It's not as though I quit at anarchy. All that we're asking is whether you're going to sign or not. Just forget about making any strange deals or any other suspicious moves. Oh, you say that I have no room to negotiate? Are you trying to claim that I'm in a weak position, which therefore puts us in an unequal relationship? Sherry was beginning to call up Rudolph's back. He began to feel himself getting overwhelmed by the height of his brother's completely insurmountable wall, and then long shadow that existed since they were children. Shouldn't deals be made between those and even footings? From my perspective, these still will help restore the long-lost trust of my younger siblings and deepen the love between us. It's an old problem that had been beating at me, and the one I would prefer to resolve as soon as possible. I'll be overjoyed if we could resolve it today. However, it seems I'm not the one who would be quite glad to close this deal quickly. Am I wrong? Cross started to stare at each of his buildings. Hey, they avoided his gaze with an animal-like instinct. Only Hideyoshi was slow in avoiding it, so he was caught by Cross's gaze. Hideyoshi-san, I hear the company has been doing extremely well lately. As a brisk pace, it went public, and both his track record and his stock prices have soared. I am truly jealous. Well, we aren't here to talk about my husband. However, it's unfortunate that you had neglected your stockholders. It's even more unfortunate that you were unable to solidify your base when you became stock listed. Before you realize that some bad-natured colleagues of yours have bought up a huge share of your company's stock, right? How could you know about that? Same way you knew about me. If it's possible to collect evidence proving that there's no one who offered me the loan to me, then it's possible for me to collect evidence on you. It's really so unexpected as that. Cross grinned broadly. In contrast, Hideyoshi faced rapidly, turning pale. Hideyoshi's company was a restaurant chain management company that he started from nothing. Thanks to Hideyoshi management efforts, the company has achieved success, repeatedly expanding its range and petition to make a stock-listed company had recently succeeded. The greatest advantage of being a stockholding system is that you can sell stock certificates and gain a large amount of financing. The amount tends to be far greater than the business's normal profits, so this is an extremely effective way to gather massive funds to expand a business even further. However, in exchange for financing the company, the stockholders gain certain rights. They're given rights that allow them to observe and guide the company that they invented and leading to profits even greater than the original investments. This right is guaranteed to stockholders, and they sometimes use it to dismiss ineffectual management. This right allows them to keep an eye on the management and prevent the money they have invested in the company from going to waste. However, if they use it forcibly, they can eject the former management and take over the company. However, all dismissing management and nominating the new management are power orders held by the general body of all shareholders. The power and determined by the majority decision of stockholders, and people who hold more stocks get to cast more votes. In other words, if someone or some person or group holds a majority of the stocks, they can freely chase out the yacht management and make the president anyone they like. If they want, it's also possible for them to make themselves president. Most companies take various defensive measures to stop malicious people from buying up their stock and threatening their position, like ensuring that live stock is bought by those close to them, such as company employees. However, Hideyoshi's company had only recently become stockless, and yet it had time to straighten those defensive measures. Remember, Hideyoshi was so engrossed in the management of his company that he couldn't properly understand the dangers of being stock-listed. It's hard to say whether he should be viewed as a kind-hearted manager and immersed in the work of management, or a foolish manager who had his feet swept up from under him. In other words, some people who wouldn't let him get away with that naivety unscathed. They began to repeatedly buying up stock in Hideyoshi's company, rapidly gaining such strength that they couldn't be ignored. They had anonymous documents to the shareholders in an attempt to gain control of majority. The documents read the current management continues to make pointless investments and is ignoring the needs of the stockholders. This forced the current management to retire, cut the current wasted investments, and let this company be born again as one that gives more back to the stockholders. It's very difficult to make the actual state of a company's management known. The fruits of Hideyoshi's sleepless nights and the constant concern for his company were cruelly distorted, and he lost the trust of his stockholders. Thanks to these efforts, his group had almost collected the majority of the company's stock. At the point, even Hideyoshi noticed it started to buy back the stock, and the whole stockholders realized that the company was undergoing an acquisition maneuver, and each demand was a ridiculous price of the shares that Hideyoshi was trying to buy back. They continually tortured Hideyoshi, who had no leeway in negotiating the price. One of the certainties of the capitalism is the price that will raise when two parties vie for the same thing. One of the certainties of democracy is that the majority controls everything, so in the end, whoever manages to buy up the most stock wins. By another way, whoever has the most money wins. And as Hideyoshi could obtain a large sum of money at some critical time, he could lose all he had built so far. Therefore, more than anyone else, he wanted a lot of money right now. He couldn't wait for the division of the Kinsel's inheritance, since he knew no one who would die. And you, Rudolph, you've been quite a lot of trouble lately too, haven't you? You always hear people say it's terrifying overseas, but it seems it's really true. America and Charles are settled quite emotionally. They never had indulged generous judgments for foreigners. Aren't you advised by your lawyer to make a judgment settlement with the other party would be more economical in the long run? What's this all about? Well, it's just some trouble from work, no big deal. Nothing you can't settle with money. Kyrie immediately guessed the meaning behind the sudden expression of Rudolph's face. Her husband's gotten wrapped up in some kind of trouble without her knowledge and had been worrying over it alone. That's right, in this world anything can be settled with money. After all, you can even buy back the broken bonds between siblings. America is very fussy about the violations of rights, but with money, anything can be settled. Long live capitalism, though rumor has it settlement money can be as high as several $1,000,000. Rudolph had been building a large amount of wealth in a certain type of niche industry. However, niches and niche is definitely known as a business exposed to the light of day. An American corporate giant was trying to accuse Rudolph's company of violating their rights for various reasons. It was thought that the victory for Rudolph and his trial would be extremely unlikely, and he was being forced into an all-out surrender. Even so, there was a way for this to be resolved with money. He could just pay the money, he might still be painful, but he'd be able to pick himself back up. But if he didn't pay, he'd lose everything, and therefore, more than anyone else, he went into a lot of money right now. Rosa, you're good at noble little sister. You wouldn't get yourself involved in dangerous money game. However, your stuff-hard nature has brought you trouble, hasn't it? In my opinion, becoming a co-signer for anything isn't someone should enter lightly. That's not your business, Cross. Rosa uncharacteristically laid bare her emotions and yelled. After all, no one was supposed to know that, as Cross watched her, except a muffled laugh. Without exception, every one of them, more than anything else, wanted a lot of money right now. In other words, the situation had been reserved. After all, the person the younger siblings were threatening was the only one who had no urgent needs for a large sum of money. The other three, however, wanted a lot of money quickly, no matter the cost. In other words, the longer it took them to establish a deal, the better position Cross would be in. Cross was extremely sly. He had known all their Achilles' heels from the beginning. So even though he had not been certain, therefore he had hidden his knowledge until the very end, striking back only after analyzing their attitudes. If it were possible, I would like nothing more than to raise some money for my adorable siblings in their time of need. But unfortunately, I had nothing on hand. If you know any sponsors that might be able to raise a whole $750 million, I suggest you try there first. Cross's elated words were so obvious, detached from what he actually felt. The other siblings could do nothing more than listen, grinding their teeth. If they were they could think of a sponsor that convenient, they wouldn't have kept this up charade. They headed into this huge battle specifically because they had exhausted all their other options. However, if you do insist on relying on your big brother, I couldn't mind using my influence to help you find such a sponsor. Oh wait, I do believe you said that I had no influence. Well then, I'm afraid I won't be able to help you much. Hee hee hee. Cross low gloating laugh began to fill the parlor. The younger siblings who had been driving the oldest brother in the corner until a moment ago could do nothing more than grimace and grind their teeth. Eva, don't make me laugh as if I ever put myself in your day. Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. If we relied on you, how exactly would you help us? I told you, didn't I? All I could do is find other sponsors for you. Of course, I would negotiate for the highest interest rate possible. Damn you, taking advantage of us. Honey, please calm down. I am calm. I'm extremely cool, you bastard. Crowley grabbed her husband's hand, and that actually made him feel even more pitiful, so Rudolph shook it off. Cross laughed as though watching something highly amusing. At times like these, it would certainly be nice to find father's head in gold. If he did, you could split it up into 7.5 billion yen portions right now. How sad, how very sad, how extremely, truly hopelessly sad. Then let's all drink together as we saw the fiddle of Beatrice's epitaph and discovered the location of father's head in gold. If we four friendly siblings work together, there's certainly no puzzle we can't solve. Ha 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 ha. Quite an entertaining scheme. Well, then, look at this. They've attached well. Whether or not Cross Sama actually was a goal, he'll pay Eva Sama, Rudolph Sama, Rosa Sama, total of $7.5 billion for their shares. However, 10% of that will be paid before March. Cross, you dunce. To think he would ever have his feet swept from under him by younger siblings, so truly amusing. But it sounds as though they tripped with them going in for the kill, yes. Yes, Cross Sama exposed the fact that even some of the younger siblings all have an urgent need to get money. There's even a need to expose such obvious facts. The irresolute, competent man What are they doing now? That conversation has been put on hold for the time being. Now Beatrice Summer's epitaph is being discussed. So they're trying to solve the riddle and find out where my gold is heading. Yes. Kenzo sit down his spectacles and snorted. Will the miracle be fulfilled first, or will those fools be exposed to gold first? What show will this be? At the very moment those fools solve my puzzle, I'll suffer utter defeat. They can stick my corpse down to the last fragment of my bone. The greed of fools can allow great magic to bring forth the miracle, and yet, if the fulfillment of the miracle comes first, if it comes first, Beatrice will be resurrected again, and the smile I've been chasing after half my life will be restored. Oh, Beatrice, soon we will come to the sacred night when we shall bet upon a miracle, and the game of demons shall begin. I will surely prove triumphant and survive. I'll let you have the life of all those others. I don't need wealth or honor or a sense of gold or anything. All I want to see is your smile one last time. Kenzo choked apparently in great pain. Cannon got closer, tried to pat his bastard's back, but Kenzo motioned for him to stop. Do you know why I went to the Chobo, exposing those hidden locations of the gold that anyone could see? Exposing the hidden locations of the gold in that place that anyone could see? No. It's because magical power is determined by risk. If non-magical people who try to discover Beatrice's gold is great, then the danger of them succeeding is great as well. The power of magic will bring out a grand miracle for the reason to succeed despite the odds. In other words, magic is a game. If it's not the case that the one who performs the best becomes the victor performs the best, no, because he has been granted magic. Do you see? It's similar to how the miracle of life can be granted only after winning against the divine odds of several 100 million to 1. It's a little difficult for you. My apologies. That's fine. It all comes down to this. I'll give all that I have built up the one solves the mystery of Beatrice's epitaph. Wealth, honor, gold, and the inheritance of the issue of me and family, everything that I've established. My children certainly aren't the only ones that have the right to solve this riddle. Anyone who solves the riddle will have the right to gain everything, even you. Yes, however, I could possibly understand such a difficult riddle. Of course, I made it difficult, but you must try to solve it as well. That will form the seed that assignment is a miracle of my magic. If everyone attempts it, everyone fails, it will be that. However, if the miracle comes together and gave birth to magical power, it will happen. Beatrice will revive. That is why you must attempt to. Everyone must attempt it, and in so doing, they'll give strength to my magic. Do you understand? Yes, I will try. For a long time, Kenzo repeatedly muttered to himself, agitated and clutching his head. Cannon stayed where he was after alert and unmoving until he was given the next order from his master. Kenzo eventually realized this. Very well, leave me. There's a bag of sweets on the liquor cabinet. You can take some with you as your reward. I'm fine, after all. I am furniture. So furniture doesn't need sweets. Well, I suppose it stands to reason. In that case, leave me. Yes, excuse me. Cannon bowed and left the study. As the door closed, a heavy locking noise sounded out. But it was not the sound of Kennon locking the door. It was the sound of locking the door automatically. No one could enter Kenzo's permission, and once they left, they could not enter again. It was a mechanism that Kenzo, unable to trust his blood relatives, had created to seal himself up in his own study, and isolating himself from the outside world. He was already unable to trust anyone except not the children who shared his blood, but those whose servants who called themselves furnitures. I can barely keep my eyes open. Nanjo-sama, how are you feeling? Genji-san, it's just been there's no place for me to be anymore. With the bit or laugh, Nanjo turned to face the door to the parlor. That look was apparently enough to tell Genji what was Nanjo wanted to say. For the most part, Genji was also understood the family situation. It must have been made him want to frown, knowing that right now in the lounge, the master of search was being discussed so disrespectfully. It would be very difficult to gather that form in his indifferent expression. Still, I don't understand. Why did Kenzo-san have been so provocative written, I wonder? Nanjo looked at the portrait of Beatrice. No, he actually directed his gaze beneath the portrait to play with the epitaph. I don't understand. I don't presume to understand Master's thoughts, or I'm sure he had deep reason for doing so. Since so long ago when Kenzo played some chess, he always prepares moves according to some far-reaching judgment. Yes, sometimes even to make moves I couldn't understand. For an average person like me, it was impossible to see through whatever it was he was planning. So that I wonder if it was some kind of will in Master's eyes. Perhaps he wishes to hand over his wealth and title to someone who can understand it. So you're thinking you might have wanted the four siblings to work together and solve the riddle before someone outsider like myself solved it. Kenzo-san may be speaking of his children in insulting terms. Perhaps he also wanted to repair their relationship. It certainly would be heartwarming if Angel asked suggested this epitaph had been made to repair the siblings' relationship. However, both Angel and Genji knew that nothing could be more impossible than this. They've known Kenzo longer than anyone. Kenzo trusted them more than his own relatives, but even they could not guess his true motives. The master always says that everyone has a right to solve this riddle, even if they aren't family from a birth family. What about you, Dr. Nanjo? No. I selected the equal puzzle for this signal, old man. Actually, I once wrote this epitaph down on my notebook. Night after night, I would try to solve it before going to sleep. But it was really hard. It looks like we might have some free time to relax and consider it before someone comes to get us. What do you say, Genji-san? I'm nothing more than first in service to the master. Golden assets are necessary to me. My, you're modest. I imagine that's why I get to trust you so much. If so, I am honored. As Angel lightly laughed in response, he once again looked at epitaph. Behold the sweet first river running through my beloved hometown. You seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. Epitaph on the portrait called my beloved witch preacher quotes as follows: Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the golden land, follow his path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore. The two will tell you of it. There sleeps the key to the golden land. The one who contains the key must then travel to the golden land in accordance with these rules. On the first twilight, after the 6 chosen by the key sacrifices, on the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the fifth twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the seventh twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the eighth twilight, gouge the leg and kill. On the ninth, the witch shall revive and none shall be left alive. On the 10th twilight journey ends, you shall attain the power of the golden land's treasures once for the last time. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all gold from the golden land. One shall be the resurrection of the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. One shall be put the witch's first. One shall be put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch Beatrice. Okay, guys. Well, I'm ending the video here. It's been roughly an hour, so I am incredibly sleepy. My eyes are burning. I can't keep my eyes open. I've been asleep for about 22 hours. I need to get some sleep already. I will see you guys later.